So, how many of you have gotten free stuff simply for existing with your beautiful and delicate Greek god? Greek god is like gender neutral Greek deity, like beauty. No? Well, good, because that's called exploitation. Anyways, so today, before I kind of get into this topic, let me just start out with an observation. So pretty privilege, it exists. It literally isn't just as an adult, no, or on social media, nope. It starts from literally like when you're old enough to think, quite literally. It starts from schools. For example, the head cheerleader is always supposed to be the prettiest. Never mind talent. The prom queen is always supposed to be the prettiest. Prom king, handsome, etc. Blah blah blah. And in general, too, people who are conventionally attractive are treated better because maybe they get more opportunities, maybe they're just treated in a nicer way, even a tiny little smile. They're given, like I said, or asked more attention, and they have a better love life, better success rate, everything. So then explain to me how, at the same time, pretty people or attractive people are treated badly with jealousy, insecurity, and hate comments, even actually, especially from the opposite gender. What kind of a world do we live in where these dualities exist when they should just cancel each other out and we should be judging people by how horrible they are instead of how horrible they look? Well, in my opinion, it comes down to misogyny, because I think that every problem in this world has a deep-rooted misogyny element to it. So before you guys start coming at me, let me just explain myself. So how many times have you seen someone who is exceptionally attractive and felt jealousy? It's totally natural. It can happen to a lot of people. And beauty is subjective. It's a thing which is so, it should be such common sense, where I can look like an ugly little duckling to someone, but a beautiful trash can to another. But obviously we don't get that. We don't understand that because it's all about power play. If you think that someone's ugly and you are not going to treat them well, that's about power play, because it gives you immense pleasure to put someone and to squash them beneath your feet. While you may look like at an excessively attractive person and you feel such fear by their sheer gorgeousness that you are just obliged, you feel obliged to be mean to them so that you can perhaps try to make them feel insecure and gain your power back. And by you, I mean just you in general, not you. Anyways, and that's kind of what it just boils down to. It's all about power. A person who is not societally attractive is treated badly. A person who is exceptionally pretty or beautiful is also treated badly. So let me just get down to the details of it. Are you below average, cutie, or pretty, beautiful, gorgeous, exceptionally gorgeous? And while saying that, I feel like I threw up in my mouth because that's just so cringe. But that's how the world looks at you. No, there's like a literal level and labels of everything where you have to be pretty in order to be treated well, but not too pretty, or you will just take away everyone's will to live, basically, because they will be so scared by your sheer beauty that they will just hate you. And we live in a world where judgment exists for everything. You could be breathing and you'll be judged. So it should come at no surprise that people are judged because of their looks. And it's really funny how we, growing up, learn to never judge a book by its cover, when in reality that is all we do. And judgment isn't a bad thing, but you have to control it. What matters is how you act. But when you treat people badly simply because you are insecure at their looks, or you laugh at their looks, that makes you the shitty and ugly person. But not everyone can get that. And while I know that a lot of examples of pretty privilege exist, let me talk about why I think that beauty has its disadvantages. And disclaimer, I still think that being prettier is more advantageous than not being, you know, conventionally attractive, because the world is just so shallow that you need to be attractive rather than not in order to pretty much survive and succeed. And it shouldn't be like that, but it literally is the way it is. So anyways, let me just move on to the examples. So there is something that I heard, which I from when I was a child, which I did not really think about much other than thinking it's ridiculous, is that when you choose your potential partner or choose pretty much your future spouse, then don't choose someone who is exceptionally pretty, because they will be shallow, they won't be of any help, because they'll be just trying to look good all the time, they will be a liar, cheater, etc. But see how all these negative traits are automatically associated with someone who is exceptionally pretty? Also, when in my AP Psych class, I learned that someone who is much, much above average will end up alone, will be lonely. But if they are just above average, then they will literally exploit pretty privilege like it's a game. So that's why I was thinking, why does this duality exist? It's because of power play. It's like extreme ends of a spectrum. No, you got to be average or pretty close here or there, near average. If you're on these sides, then God forbid. But again, it's all about judgment, and it just really surprises me how that's even a thing, because beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. So it's not necessary that two people will, or one person will be attractive to two people. But that's also because of social media, because of real life, because society, thanks to society, we have kind of these conventional traits of whom we should admire for the looks and whom we shouldn't. And it's really all about power play. So until we change that, and until we stop listening to society, we're not going to be good. But having said that, it's very hard to, it's easy to say that to stop listening to society, but when we live in society, I know that it's hard, and not a lot of people have the power or the opportunities to escape that. And I know that a lot of people have been bullied for their looks, whether that's for being too pretty or not, conventional enough. And that is really sad. So in the end, if you think about it, I, in my opinion, feel like exceptionally attractive people who are treated badly, that is also bullying, for the people who are treated that way. And it's like, it's very concerning, because depression and all those mental health issues, they're not just they're not just applicable to those who are oppressed by society. No, attractive people who have an advantage to society, well, if you're exceptionally attractive, like psychology says, unfortunately, it is true that you do end up very lonely, because people will think you're unapproachable, will think you're shallow, etc., because they'll just judge you based on your looks. And that's why maybe you won't have that many opportunities open up to you, whether that's in your dating life, in your friend or social life, professional life, academic life, all of that, because of judgment. And judgment is the thing where, just like it kind of judges you for not being a winner in the eyes of society, if you're also too successful, then also people would like to just come in and take away your opportunities. And now, moving on to the fun part of social media, just go to any random influencer or under the post of any girl or guy who is pretty attractive. There will be so many comments just trolling them for being conventionally attractive, where it is very ridiculous. Which brings me to the next point of beauty. See, like I said, there are several kind of layers within beauty and several types of beauty. And I'm not going to get into that, because while I love fashion, this is not about fashion. So the thing is, I'll just explain in two kind of categories, where one is pure beauty and the other one is impure beauty. As if that's a thing, but that is a thing according to some people. So pure beauty is kind of like effortless beauty, but instead of just acknowledging like, oh, that person's effortlessly beautiful, they're kind of held as the societal standard, where it's like you need to look that level of, when you need to look like that, where it looks like you're making no effort, you don't care about your appearance, but somehow you still look like an angel. Where you may not be exceptionally pretty, but you are kind of seen as a goddess because you don't care much about your looks, you're just there frolicking, but you're still attractive. Whereas impure beauty is not just restricted to people who opt in for plastic surgery simply because it's their choice. No, it's also about people who give noticeable effort to their appearance, and maybe they have higher self-confidence or just whatever it is. It's like that kind of person is seen as pretty much a demon for paying attention to their appearance, for trying, not hard, but just trying to keep themselves presentable, and for having self-confidence. So it kind of stems from pretty privilege, where all the prettier people had all the privilege. So now it's like kind of like a counterculture where people want to respect others who are not societally, or like conventionally attractive, which is good. But then now it's come down to the point where it's like the less effort you give, the better you are in the eyes of society, because then you're humble. So it's like, see these little gray areas of beauty. It's like, you can't be pretty, you can't be ugly, you can't be gorgeous, you can't be anything except moderately, just the tiny little perfect ingredient of pretty. So it's like, what are we supposed to do? Wear a mask on our faces? Which we should do if you're in public. Anyways, and it's like very kind of ridiculous and restrictive. Bottom line is, misogyny has paved this way for everyone to restrict us, where it's like we need to try hard, but not hard enough. And we need to try super hard without making it look like we have tried hard. So basically, more than beauty, it's about this thing where we pretend to have a perfect life. We pretend to be perfect. We have to suck up to society's rules, and we just have to give in. We just have to give in to what society, or tiny little microtrends, or just whatever, we have to give in to what society wants from us. And that is very ridiculous, and that is why no one is really happy in this world nowadays. So the last thing I want to say is that it doesn't matter how you look, just focus on your personality. But having said that, it's like literally no one, cares about that, because people do judge a lot by looks. They judge a lot by personality too, but bottom line, they judge, and they will keep judging. So you do you, just be confident and don't hate on others who are confident. And that was my spiel. So thank you for listening. And also, this is Camellia. I have not had a video in a long time. Not that it matters, because I don't really post or have followers. And anyways, bye, and see you in the next video. Thank you for listening.